convene the committee of the whole city council on April 25th and ask for a roll call, please.
Jacobson, Fanouken,
Here.
Markort,
Here.
Snow,
Here.
Noriko,
Here.
Baker, Favor,
Here?
Ray,
Here.
6 present.
Thank you. We do have a quorum to convene. City council, we have before us this evening the liquor code updates. I'll ask City Attorney Frieders to introduce this topic, please.
Thank you, Mayor. On the agenda for this evening for the regular meeting, we do have the second reading on the series of 3 ordinances that were contemplated at your last city council meeting. We also have first reading on a couple of additional items, and this is kind of the second group of policy issues that had been discussed with the council over the past couple of months. The first is with regard to Bassett and tips training. State law, the liquor code has been updated to be more explicit in requiring licensees to undergo Bassett training by a qualified licensed trainer. That has been a requirement of city code for a number of years now. But as our police department has looked at the different types of Bassett training available, one of the types of Bassett training is called tips training. And that is, I want to say, training and intervention procedures. Tips training is more oriented towards ensuring that when service of alcohol is done, it is done in a responsible fashion, and it's more narrowly constrained at ensuring that service to minors doesn't occur, that people aren't overserved, and issues that are more central in a college community. All tips training is Bassett certified. Not all Bassett training is tips certified. So any tips training provided in the state would meet the state's minimum requirements. It's our recommendation to transition from Bassett training to tips training. Many of our licensees currently do meet that standard. The ordinance contemplates also the potential that the city could provide that training at a future point in time, if that's something that the police department elected to start providing. 2 other changes that are proposed here. One is we are eliminating the requirement for owners to obtain liquor license training. The reason for that is really twofold. Where it's a small establishment and the owners serve as the managers, they're already required to be trained as managers. On the other hand, where it's a larger establishment, where it's a CVS or a Jewel Osco, the owners on paper tend to be corporate officers of a corporation that's located in Delaware or in a foreign state, and we don't really have a practical way of requiring them to be trained, nor is it really sensible to require them to be trained under our local liquor code. So we're sticking with recommending training for the servers and the managers. The related sub-issues here, we had talked at some of the previous meetings about the changes in state law with regard to happy hours. There are 2 changes with regard to creating special event spaces, either a dedicated event space with a meal package or party package, or a entertainment package. Those are all oriented around allowing for special events that have unlimited service of alcohol, where you buy a wristband or a ticket. Under the state code, you can create an area for unlimited service of alcohol in any liquor establishment by cordoning off an area with a rope or moving a couch to create a furniture barrier. We continue to believe that that presents some significant concerns with regard to constraining the sales of alcohol to those that have been properly age verified and are properly within that area. So it's our recommendation to limit those type of events to establishments that have what we call a hospitality license. A hospitality license can be held in conjunction with a bar or restaurant license, but what it requires essentially is a fixed space separated by a wall or door or some sort of permanent demarcation that'd be used for that purpose. You can certainly use the entire establishment for that purpose, or you can have a fixed space used for that purpose, but we're recommending restricting those types of events just to hospitality licenses. The state code also contemplates happy hour drink discounts. There are some restrictions on those in the state code, up to 4 hours per day or 15 hours per week, and your drink prices have to be posted on your website. Staff doesn't have any recommendation to deviate from the state standards on that. Our recommendation is to just remain silent on that point and let the state law control. Finally, at our last meeting, one of the aldermen had raised the question about age restrictions and access for persons under 21 into bars. Currently under city code, persons under 21 are prohibited from entering into establishments that have bar liquor licenses unless they're with their parent or legal guardian. A bar license, you may recall, is an establishment that can sell alcoholic beverages without any corresponding sale of food. They can sell a full range of alcohol, from beer or wine to shots to mixed drinks or anything in between. At the request of council, we've done a survey of the comparable college communities in the state, and we've provided that back up in the material. Macomb requires you to be 20 or older. Champaign has 3 different types of liquor licenses that are bar licenses. One is those 19 and older, one is 19 and older, but only before 9 p.m., and after 9 p.m. you have to be 21. And the third classification is always restricted to those 21 and older. Carbondale is 19 or older. Edwardsville does not maintain a minimum age restriction for bars. Urbana is 18 or older. Bloomington is 21 or older. And Normal does not maintain a minimum age restriction for bars. So we started that process at the request of council. At this point in time, as staff, we're still investigating that and working on developing a fully informed recommendation, but that is something that, as a component of the city manager's outreach with the student community in the city, we want to engage them and have some informed discussion with them on the pros and cons of such a proposal before we would return that back to council for further consideration. So that is not something that we've proposed as an action item tonight, but again, those earlier ones are. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have on any of those topics.
Questions on the liquor code updates as Attorney Frieders has summarized those? Alderman Snow.
Just on the tips training, when will that be required? Is that something when their license is renewed, they will have to have that, or?
Yes, that's something that we work with the licensees on an annual basis to make sure their training is up to date. When a new licensee comes in, they're required to obtain that. When a licensee is hiring new servers, they're required to update their servers training. But it would not be the case that we would go out to all licensees and say, you have to have this done within 10 days or something. We would work with licensees to establish a period of time for them to update their training.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions or discussion? Alderman Markworth.
And the tips, is that just the bartender server, or would that be like waitresses and waiters and other people as well?
In the city's code, it defines what constitutes an alcohol server, and that could be at a grocery store that has a liquor license. That could be a checkout person that is checking out people. That could be a bartender. It could be a waitress, as you noted. It's the people that are directly involved in the transactions that are selling alcohol, that are checking IDs, that are monitoring patrons that are consuming alcohol. So it is those central servers. It's also the managers of the establishment that have been designated as liquor managers by the owner of the establishment.
Other discussion or questions? As Dean indicated, we will be coming back to these, I believe 4 of these are, 3 of them are in action items, 4 of action items for us in terms of the liquor code changes that we'll come back to this evening. But this is our opportunity if you wish to express comments or discussion on these items. Sounds like we're satisfied with the information as it's been presented. With that, I would turn to public participation. Does anyone wish to speak? Do we have anyone registered? Okay. Okay, we will move on then. I'll ask for a motion to recess to executive session to discuss personnel as provided for in 5 ILCS 120/2C1 and to discuss pending or imminent litigation as provided for in 5 ILCS 120/2C11. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Fanouken. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Markworth. Roll call.
Fanouken,
Yes.
Markort,
Yes.
Snow,
Yes.
Noriko,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Favor?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes,
7 yes.
okay. We will use the large conference room.